welcome you all to the day 4 of Placement Bootcamp on FMCG Profile. Hope we all have an enriching experience from the session. So without any delay, let's start the session.
So today we have great set of panelists who have excelled in their domains and are present here to provide us plenty of insights about CDC placements. So first of all, we have Ms. Samriti Pataskar who has backed her placement in AB Indeed. Samriti, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Samriddhi. I recently joined AB InBev as a global management trainee, which is also known as GMT, and I majored in chemistry from obviously IIT Kharagpur. I graduated recently, and I really look forward to helping all of you become a GMT as well.
Thank you. Next on our panel, we have Mr. Shashank Mishra, who is currently working at ITC. So we request Shashank to please introduce yourself.
I am Shashank Mishra, and I did my bachelor's in manufacturing science and engineering, and I also did my master's in industrial engineering and management. And I joined ITC as a TICE intern, and I got the PQO. Recently, I am working as an AOT, that is assistant under training, and I hope to see some of you here soon. Welcome.
Thank you for your introduction. The audience can put up their questions in the chat box. We will be happy to take them at the end.
So let us get started with our session. Sankal, could you please change the slide? Yeah. Coming to the foremost important thing. Everyone has a common doubt: how to prioritize among the diverse pool of companies, with each company coming with its own set of incentives and deterrent. So Samruddhi, would you like to go first?
Yeah, the very first thing I want to say is that don't have like a particular company or even a set of companies fixed in your mind that these are the ones you want to go for, because if you don't get shortlisted or if you miss it, you will really get depressed, and at that time you won't have these other options ready in your head as a backup plan. So what I did was, I used to my main focus was product. It wasn't even FMCG, and I had coding as a backup. So always have like two profiles, like one is your main target and the other one as a backup. Even within that, I would suggest have companies also divided into two parts. Like, for example, you're prepping for FMCG, have like a few that you want to go for. But in case you don't make it, backup may like have a list of 3, 4 other companies, and same for your backup profile also, main companies and backup companies. So do that. Shashank, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think you're very correct, because even if you have a priority, then you end up getting either a no shortlist or you end up going to a different company. But if we talk very objectively, I will say that there are three things that you should keep in mind. Like, first, to shortlist the portfolio. Okay, that will depend upon three things. That is the past experience that you are having. There is any kind of interns or projects that you are having in your CV. The second is the exposure to any kind of field for which you are looking for. Like, there may be a banking sector, there may be some ATM sector, right? So if it is aligning with your curriculum or your exposure, then you can go forward to it. And the third thing will be your long-term goals. That which company will help you in aligning your long-term goals with your career, right? So these are the basically three objective criteria that you should look forward in deciding any kind of a portfolio, right? And if you start talking about the FMCG, then there are two things that you should go for. The first is the job description and its alignment with your interest, and the second thing will be that you have to talk to your seniors, because many times what the job description is, it is very different from what the job is actually on the field, right? So if you want to know exactly what a job looks like, then you should talk to your seniors, and if that aligns with your interest, then you can prioritize that company if you want. That's
And
it.
you'll often, in placement semester, you will find yourself in two phases. One is right now, where you have to apply on the portal and everything, and the second is when the placements start, like day one, day two, day three. So if it's day one, day two, at that time you don't really have the option of even prioritizing. You will, if you're in the shortlist, you're there. You have to give the interview. If you get selected, you have to accept the offer. There's no choice really out there of prioritizing. You can make preferences for the companies, but that's very limited. But right now, this is the phase where you have more power and control over prioritizing your companies. So, Abhi Portal Pay, you'll see a lot of companies come up in the next few days. Do apply for as many of them as you can. Like, FMCG was not even in my horizon. I wasn't even considering it. But my friends had told me that GMT is a very good profile, and everyone was applying for it. So I did, and thankfully I got shortlisted and I got placed on day zero itself. Like, I didn't even have to give the interviews for my day one shortlists or anything like that. So right now, try to like enlarge your horizon, apply for as many companies as you can, give as many tests as you can, so that you have a lot of options open. And afterwards, when you get the shortlist, then you have like the luxury of choosing, okay, like these are the companies I want to go for.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
one more thing that I would like to add upon is that, like, once you get a shortlist, right? So you, let's say you have a list of 4 to 5 companies. So just make sure that that night before you should like tell that priority to the place comms, because sometimes it happens that the place comm will not call you. So you have to tell them this, that this is my priority, and you have a clarity in mind that I will go ahead with this kind of a priority. Okay, that happened with me because I didn't get a call. I got a 3 to 4 shortlist, but I didn't call for my priority, right? So just make sure that you get a priority checklist done within the place forms. Okay. Right.
Okay, that was great. So moving on to the next question.
So the next question is, what was the general selection procedure for different companies and how you went for it? So Shashank, what were your experiences during your selection procedure?
Yeah, so I will talk specifically about IDC because that was the only company that I went ahead. Okay, so basically we have around 3 to 4 rounds. Okay, the first one would be a GD. Okay, I will delve into it later on. The second round would be a tech plus HR round, and the third round can be again a tech plus HR round if they are not very sure about you. And the final round will be a round with higher management committee. Okay, so basically what happens with IDC, there are 10 levels from level 1 to level 10. Okay, and you are hired at level 5, right? So till tech plus HR round, there are level 4 people, and in final management committee round, you face with level 2 people. And if I specifically talk about the GD, then they would give you a question that is a situation based question. If I give an example, then that can be like you're trapped in a forest and you have to survive. So what they do, they give you around 20 options and you have to rank according to your priority that would help you to survive, right? And they already have some rank with them. They just match up their scores, and if they are very close to score, then you get shortlisted. So this was one point that helped you in shortlisting in GD. Other points are the communication skills, the coordination with your team members, because you have to create a kind of a co-creative environment in GD. You don't need to fight because most people start fighting in the GD. You don't need to do that, right? And the final point would be the kind of a logic that you are putting forward while communicating your points in the GD, right? Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, like the general, if you ask like general process for all FMCGs, it's like three steps. First is like the test or the shortlist. Next is the group discussion, and finally it's the interviews. But if I give you like the AB InBev perspective, specifically for the GMT profile, because that's what I got into, it's the same process, but it has many more levels. Like there were 7 to 8 rounds. So there were like 2 to 3 tests, 2 to 3 group discussions, 2 to 3 personal interviews, and it was like a month-long process. So it varies company to company, but yeah, GD and interview, it will be there for everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for the detailed answer. Moving to the next question.
And if
So
anyone wants to
last,
ask more, then he can go ahead. Okay, like if you have any doubt in tech plus HR round or anything like that, you can really go. Yeah.
yeah, the if there is any question from the audience, they can put up in the chat box, and we will have that question at the end.
Okay, so for this specific one, I would really like to share my screen and show you some resources for last moment preparation. And I think
Yeah,
the communicate team would be happy to see this. Just one sec. Um, just let me know when you can see my screen, all right?
yeah, sure.
What's going on? Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay, all right. So the very first resource that I want to talk about is the Communique blog itself. I personally referred to this a lot during my placements, a lot, because being IITians, we always are too busy coding or doing cases and doing the hard preparation, and we forget that there is an HR round, and we are clueless about how to uh, answer questions there because we haven't studied that and we haven't even prepared for it. So that's when this blog really helped me a lot. So out here you'll find the interviews of a lot of people for whatever profile and whatever company you want. So for my HR round, and I had like 3 to 4 HR rounds, so I would just like collect all the HR questions from every person's interview out here on this blog, and I would prepare answers for it beforehand, and that's how I was able to ace them. Even out here they've structured, like Communique is right here, you guys have structured it very well. So if I just search out here, say FMCG, I want to read someone's interview, so like the very first one, if I click it, oh, it's mine only, okay, great. So yeah, so out here you'll find like my interview, it's all AB and Bev, like what questions were asked, the general process, even within each round what were the questions asked, like people do communicate that. You can also search for what's going on. Yeah, you can also search for a specific company if you want. Like if I search ITC, you'll find blogs of that as well. So yeah, you can just refer to this blog. It's very, very useful, especially for last minute. And if you have like more time, then there is this thing called Relay Campus. This was started by my very own senior, Shambhavi. She was my TDS senior and my whole senior and everything. So I know her very well. So this is a great community and a platform for like doing case prep and all. And I feel like I got into a FMCG firm even though I didn't prepare for it because of my case prep. Like I was doing a lot of product cases at this very place with all these people, and so you stay in touch with the communication aspect of interviews and GDs, and that really helped me. That got transferred to like my FMCG round, so I was able to clear them. So you can check this out. And also, if someone is considering coding as a backup or anything like that, then there is this lovely thing called Algo Zenith. This is a platform again created by KGPians, where you can like learn coding and all of that. They have courses also, uh, if you're interested. So yeah, that's about the resources.
Yeah, it feels very nice that our work is being helpful for our KGP Janta. Yeah. Shashank, would you like to add to this?
Yeah, I would just like to add a ITC perspective. So Samriddhi was rightly talking that HR round is very important, and especially in case of ITC, they have level two people who are sitting for HR round. So they have everything in their hand. If they want to increase the audience, they can increase the audience. If they want to reject a guy, they can just reject a guy. So that is very important, especially in ITC, to give to prepare for HR round. And for that, you have to be very truthful, very confident, and you have to be authentic in work you did, and you have mentioned in the CV, right? So that's
Yeah, that was great. So moving on to the next question we have.
CG criteria, there isn't. At least at AB InBev, there wasn't. Like Shashank, is there any CG criteria for ITC and HUL and all these companies?
yeah, actually they explicitly don't specify that, but the talent pool is so great that they end up doing eight shortlist CGP of eight. So mostly they need a CGP of greater than eight for shortlisting.
Okay, and those of you out here who don't have a great CGPA, please definitely apply for AB InBev because that's a very open-minded company. They don't look at your CGPA at all. Even if they are filtering your CV, it's about your projects and experience. They really look into it and not at your CGPA. So do go for it.
Okay. So Sankalp, please change the slide. Yeah, so acing interview is not an easy job, and the two of you would know the best about it. So, any piece of advice you would like to give us?
Okay, so there's one thing that a lot of people don't know. So I think it's important to mention it. When you get your shortlist, right, you usually get it like a day before, and the next day you have to interview for that company. So just go to Google, find the principles and the values of that company. There are usually like 5 to 10 principles, and just find examples from your CV which fit that. So, for example, like an AB InBev principle is ownership. Like they want people who would own their projects and take ownership of their work. You can like pull out an example from your CV where you probably didn't know, and I'm sure you must have experienced this in your internships. You landed in a place where you don't know anything about the field or the area beforehand, and you had to learn everything on your own and deliver results, and you were able to do it. So do mention things like that. Another example could be like curiosity. If the value of a company includes they want curious people, they want curious employees, then also you can pull up an example from your CV saying that you were working in so and so research area during a foreign internship or something, but you were also curious about another area and you contributed to that side by side, and you ended up maybe getting a publication or something like that as well. So just look up whatever shortlist you get right the day before, just like the night before, look up the values of the company and find examples from your CV which show that you have that value, and that's why they should hire you.
Yeah. So, we have our third panelist here, Ninad Lokare. So, Ninad, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
I'm audible, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Hi
you are
everyone.
audible.
My name is Ninal Lokhe. I'm currently working at AB InBev as a global management trainee with Samruddhi. So yeah, looking forward to answering your questions.
So, yeah, would you like to comment on this question?
I think Ninad has a network issue.
Yeah, okay. Shashank, would you like to add to this?
Let me put it in six objective points. Okay, the first point would be that you have to be confident throughout the interview. The second point would be that you have to know each and everything that you write in your CV. The third thing would be that don't do any kind of a debates in the group discussion and all. You have to be very objective and very logical in the discussion, and you have to create a kind of a co-creative environment. The fourth point would be that you have to be the colleague that you want to work with, right? So act like that. Don't be a very bitchy or something very awkward guy to work with. Okay. And the fifth point would be that you have to think logically and have to present it in a very structured manner. For example, you can use a star approach like situation, task, action, result approach, any kind of approach that you like. Okay. And the final point would be that you have to start making a group and you have to start the preparing for CV mocks and all. That would help you a lot. Like if you're thinking that you can go forward alone and all, that's not going to work. Okay, because at the end it's all about teamwork and how you discuss the thing, how you communicate your approach and all, right? So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Ninad, am I audible?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm audible, right? Correctly. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
facing a network issue, but yeah. Okay, so regarding the tips for acing the interview, I'll just say one thing which I observed was really impactful during my prep. It's like that each of your answer should be a story in itself. Okay, it should be flowing in a manner. It should not be something too technical. ऐसे एकदम super structured manner में तुम बता रहे हो. It should be more of a story because in such interviews, specifically in GMT, the people look for people who can fit in the company culture. So it's more about the values and the personality than the technical aspects of the interview. So each of your answers should move like a story, which is really important, and it actually helped me a lot. So yeah, that is something you should really look into. So if for general questions like weaknesses, strengths, challenges in life, all this, prepare set answers with you that move in a story. So for example, I used to say when I faced a challenge, I used to cite some incidents that happened during my VP tenure, and I would narrate that incident, tell them, yes, this is how I handled it, and I would handle it in a similar manner. So try to structure it in this manner. It will be really impactful.
Yeah, that was great. So moving on to the next question.
So now we have collected some frequently asked questions from the student community regarding FMCG profile. So the first one is, what skills are required to get into FMCG profile? Any of the panelists would like to start?
Shashank, so
Yeah.
I just clarify one thing. Just a sec. So in GMT specifically, as an AB InBev, it's not specifically a supply chain role or an FMCG. It's an FMCG company, but it's not a supply chain role that is offered in ITC or HUL. It's a little different. So Shashank, why don't you take up the ITC wala aspect, the supply chain wala aspect?
Yeah, so like if you see the kind of the skills that they basically look in at that, I will basically see the three skills. Okay, the first one would be that you have to be a smart worker. The second thing would be that you have to be somewhat good at academics because it goes from L5 to L1, right? So initially it is mostly based upon the depth. That is the kind of a project you do. So that is basically based upon the depth. Okay, so that will take you through the academics and you have to apply it in a real life. And finally, as you go up, it is mostly based upon the kind of a vision that you give to the company and all. Okay. And finally, they see you as a good manager, right? Because you have people from L6 to L10 that you have to manage, right? So you have to handle a lot of people. So they see a lot of people skill in you, and they expect you to be good at it. Okay. And in that, if I talk about, they see the kind of emotional intelligence that you are having, the kind of IQ you use during handling people. So these are the kind of skills that they implicitly look at.
And I think, like, not just for FMCG, but any company that you interview for, it's very important to be curious and to show them your curiosity, because that means that even if you don't have a skill that they require, you are curious enough to learn it, ace it, and deliver results. And specifically, at the end of an interview, if you're asked a question, do you have any questions for us? That is, yeah, it's actually a trick question. They're not just trying to end the interview saying, yeah, now it's done. Now you can ask me your questions. They want to see what research you have done about the company. Like, ask them questions about any new products that they are launching, any new campaign they are starting. Look up the recent news of that company before you go for the interview, so that when the interview asks, do you have any questions for me? Then you can ask them about these very recent campaigns and impress them that you are up to date with what's going on out there.
Thank you. That was really insightful answer. Moving to the next question.
So this is the question regarding the supply chain. So means, are there any companies that require an in-depth knowledge of supply chain management, or having any prior knowledge of supply chain management would help in any stage of selection procedure? So any of the panelists would like to start?
Yeah, for
I don't
ITC,
think, and in yeah, Shashank, you can go ahead.
yeah, so for ITC, it is a big no. They don't require any kind of a knowledge until and unless they are specifically specified in the job description or you have written that in your CV. They don't require.
Yeah, same
Yeah,
thing goes.
it's the same for ABI.
Yeah, I think any
So if you
FMCG
have written something in your CV, yeah, if you've written anything in your CV, then you need to be thorough with that. But if you have not written anything, I like they don't specifically ask for a domain knowledge. Uh, if you've written something, then that you should be thorough with that.
Yeah. And there are, like, again, two kinds of companies. One FMCG type is which opens only for mechanical and chemical, and the other type is like AB InBev, which opens for all. So if it's open for all, then they definitely don't expect any supply chain knowledge from you, because obviously you've not studied that, right? So it's a more generalist approach. Like these guys were also saying, if it's on your CV, then they'll ask you about it.
So moving to the next question. So do companies prefer students from specific branches? Any of the panelists would like to share some insights?
Yeah, as Samruddhi said, that there are some companies which are specifically open for specific departments. They only prefer those departments. But in a role like GMT, in any AB InBev, there's no preference for a branch. Not at all.
And for ITC, like they have a specified list of students from like mechanical or chemical base they want to take. But within that, they can shift from mechanical to chemical or something like that. Basically, they are L2 people, so they can switch if they want, specifically for ITC.
Samruddhi would like to add something?
Yeah, like they kind of covered what I wanted to say. Like AB InBev is one company which doesn't look at your CGPA, doesn't look at your department. It only focuses on your CV, like on your project. So please do apply if you're considering an FMCG role.
That's great. So moving to the next segment of the session, where we will take up the questions from the chat box.
So yeah, so we have one question. So is core knowledge of chemical and mechanical department required for ITC? So I think Shashank would be interested in this answer question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically, yeah, thanks for the question. So basically, there are two things. The first thing is that it basically depends upon you how you drive the interview. Okay, so that would be the first thing. And the second thing is like if you have written any projects that is based upon your core engineering subject, then we are basically going to deep dive into it, and you have to explain them each and every inch of it.
Okay. So any other panelists would like to add?
Yeah, I think in general, like any kind of core knowledge is not required for any profile. I mean, whether it's FMCG or coding or whatever, they just are concerned with your skills specific to the role, not to like the core knowledge or the FMCG knowledge as such. So it's a very generalist approach. You don't have to worry about all these, core things.
So Shashank, there is a question for you. Is that is 8 plus CG good enough for ITC?
Yeah, 8 plus CG is good for anything.
That's great. So the
Okay.
next
Not for
question is,
consultancy though. If you want to go for consultancy, then you
Yeah,
need like
yeah,
9
like
or 9, 8.8, something like that.
Okay. That's great. So we have the next question. Are PORs important while CV selection? So any of the panelists would like to answer this?
Yeah, again, see, if you're talking about Abin Bev, the thing is that what they see in your CV is any kind of excellence that you have. Okay, so I'll tell you my cohort. So we are 6 people. There are people who have done immense work in cultural drama, dramatics, and all that. There are people who have done work in entrepreneurship. There is one person who is totally core CV in electrical. There are people who are heavy PORs. There are people who have done research in core. So it's very varied. Okay, what they look at is people who have excelled somewhere and have something to show for it. So if you have heavy PORs and if you're guiding an interview basis the fact that you have done a lot of work in your PORs, then it's good. But if you don't have PORs but you have done something else, then that's also better. So I won't say it's necessary, but if you have it and if you're using it, then obviously you need the good ones.
So any of the
any
other
of the
panelists?
panelists?
Yeah, and PORs are like basically, I had like 3 to 5 PORs on my CV, out of which 2 were like founder and co-founder kind of PORs. But still, I wasn't really questioned on that. I was questioned more based on my patent, which I did during an internship. So it doesn't really matter. But PORs do help you in the sense that, if they ask you questions like, have you ever led a team? Or if you faced a problem when, two teammates had a conflict or something, how did you resolve it? Those kind of questions, you can pull out examples from your CV or from your past experience. You can say that, you worked at so and so society and you faced this and this is how you resolved it. So there it helps. But yeah, if there is a peak in your CV, that's what you will be questioned on.
Yeah. So in all my interviews, it was just about my PORs. There was nothing else that was discussed. My VP tenure and all that. So it depends on your CV and how you're guiding the interview.
So moving to the next question. So is it possible for AB interns to get a PPO in ABI GMT profile?
So as
No,
of
it's
now,
not possible.
no, because
It's not possible at all.
no, for MBA colleges it is. So let me explain.
Huh.
Right now, AB InBev, so this GMT role, right, that Ninad and I are in, this was always a role for MBA grads. They used to hire from IIM Ahmedabad, XLRI, Jamshedpur, and all these places. So just last year, this changed and they have started hiring from undergrad colleges like KGP and so on. So back then, those MBAs, their PPO used to directly convert to GMT. But for our undergrad colleges, there is no GMT intern, first thing. Second thing, there is a technical intern for principal analyst. If you get a PPO, you'll get a PPO for that. It's a technical role. It's not GMT, and you'll even have a different office. In Bangalore, you'll get the GCC office, not the main ABI office. So the only way to be a GMT is to, like, as of now, the only way is to apply for placements. Like, even if you get a PPO, it won't be in the management role.
Okay.
So there is another question. Are there any technical or case study round?
Okay, so the only kind of a case study or any kind of case that I was asked was a guesstimate, which again, Communique has a book for guesstimates and all. So please do share that on the group, like at the end of this session, if you have a link or
Yeah,
something.
and in the process, we have one business case round which happens in the GMT process. It is a group. It's not exactly a group discussion, but it's like you divide into groups, and each of these groups have to perform a case study in the limited time. So that is like last second round, I think so. Samruddhi? Before the
Second
final
last
panel.
round. Second
Yeah,
last round.
before the final panel. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where actually your case prep helps. So remember in the beginning, I was saying have like a main profile and a backup profile. So my main was product, and I used to do a lot of cases. So because of that, I was very well prepared for cases like these. So that really helped in FMCG, even though I didn't prepare specifically for that. But guesstimates, definitely do them. It's okay if you don't do consulting cases or product cases, but definitely do guesstimates for whatever non-coding profile that you're applying for.
Yeah, and specifically for ITC, like the first JD that happens is basically a case study based upon. It is a basically situational case study. It is not a very technical case study. So they put you in a situation, and you have to get out of that situation using some of the options which they already give you. So it is a very general case study. Okay, anyone can do it. It all depends upon communication skills and all that.
That's great. So the next question is, what sort of topics are given in the group discussion? Any tips to do them better? And what kinds of questions are asked in exams?
So coding is definitely not required. I see that in the question. No, it's not, because this is not a software profile at
Yeah.
all. What kind of questions are asked in the exams? I assume you're talking about the placement tests. So there are two types again. One is psychometric, where they basically want to see your personality. They basically want to check if you're a team player or not. So if there's a question like, two people in your team are fighting, what will you do? The options will be like, you'll complain to the manager about them, or you will talk to them yourself, or you will do nothing about it. So obviously you have to like select the option that you will talk to them personally and try to resolve it, because that means you're a team player. If you're complaining to the manager directly or doing nothing about it, that means that you're just a rock who's not involved enough. So that's psychometric. The other type is cognitive tests. Now the cognitive tests are less of a test and more like a game. So an example of a question would be, they'll give you a grid, which is like say a 9 by 9, a 3 by 3 grid of 9 squares, and they'll randomly like color the squares, okay, and they'll remove it. You have to remember the sequence, and they'll rotate the grid, and you have to color the same squares that they had colored. So it's more of like, or another example is, they'll make you fill a balloon until it bursts. This is for checking your risk taking ability. You have to like do some trial and error and keep blowing air into a balloon digitally, obviously, and they'll see whether you take risks or not. So that those are the kind of questions covered in cognitive tests. So these are the two kinds of tests. And for group discussion, what kind of topics are given? Again, there is two types. One could be like a very generalist thing. So AB InBev is a beer company, right? So they might give you something like, how will you open a beer shop or a beer outlet in a very remote, isolated area where it's difficult to deliver, it's difficult to find customers, and there's no branding and stuff. So that way, like having knowledge of like the beer industry in general might help, but it's not required. Even like you all are IITians, like logically you can think of these, okay, like delivery issues and manufacturing and all of that. You don't need a PhD for that. And is like we just talked about, it's like a business case. They'll give you a proper structured that this you have to invest so much money in so many different portfolios and make the maximum profits, and then you work as a team and discuss key, okay, this is what our final plan is going to be, and just give that to your interviewer.
So, Shashank, would you like to add? Uh, Shashank, you are on mute.
Yeah, I think Samruddhi emphasizes very well. You can go ahead.
That's great.
So we have another question. So what type of projects are helpful for shortlisting our CV? So anyone would like to take
AB
this?
InBev in general does not have a CV shortlisting round. So we don't have a CV shortlisting round. It's just the tests, then the interviews. So,
Yeah, for ITC, it can be it can be any project. It all depends upon kind of the impact that you create through that project. Okay? So that's the only thing they look for. And if it is if it is based in mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, then that's only a plus point. But they don't see like what kind of a project you do. It's all dependent on the kind of impact you create.
Yeah, for FMCG, you don't need to have any specific kind of project in your CV. But in case anyone out here is going for like a coding profile or a technical profile, it's always good to have some keywords in your CV, like maybe machine learning, or in your that you have that column in your CV, right? Skills and expertise. So try to include as many out there as you can, because some companies have like a filter for certain keywords. So do that. But for FMCG, it's not required.
That's great. So the next question is, can you guys talk about your work you do in AB InBev? So
This is my favorite
can I take
question.
this?
Yeah, you go.
So
Go.
I'll just explain. So in GMT role, how the program is structured is that we'll be a GMT for 18 months. Okay. Now these 18 months are divided into 4 rotations. So I'll explain the rotation. So we have a 6-month rotation for sales, a 3-month rotation in marketing, a 6-month rotation in supply, and a 3-month rotation in solutions. So currently our sales rotation is going on. So we are involved on the ground, how the sales are happening on field, where all beer is being sold and everything. So we are thoroughly involved. And each of these rotations are structured that we'll have a training period of 1-2 months and then a project period. So we'll be allotted a project which we have to do. So we'll be moving across all the functions of the company. And after this 18 months, we'll be deployed as as a manager, as a senior manager in the company. It can be in any field. Okay. So the biggest USP of GMT is that you do not belong in one department. You belong in all the departments. You can move across any functions, and it's a really coveted program inside the company also. As in, people expect a lot from us, but we also have access to huge number of resources. We can connect with anyone, so that is a kind of advantage we have as GMTs. So currently we are doing our sales job, and yeah, that's how the rotations are structured, and that's how the progression happens as a GMT.
Yeah.
If you
And
want to add something.
right now we are doing our sales projects for 6 months, and to be honest, if you ask me, I feel like my job is a party more than like a career, because I'll tell you what my day looks like. So it starts at around 12 or 1. Not even at 10 a.m. like the other companies, because the beer market and the beer shops, they open at around 12 or 1 o'clock. So that's when we leave for the market. And there, like, imagine every day you get to go to like 18 to 20 beer shops, and see like whether ABI products are doing well or not, how the competitors are doing, what kind of offers and schemes are going on to sell our beers and our brands. So that's amazing. And often, almost every day, like it ends with like a party, because you will, within your market, besides the beer shops, there's also something known as nightclubs, or high-end outlets, where you go in the evening, and you have to talk to the owner about how your products are selling and not. And you're literally in the center of a party with people dancing around you. There's great music, people are having beers, and you are there entertained free of cost. You get free food, free beer, everything, because you're from AB InBev. And they give you like a nice VIP lounge to sit on and talk to the owner and everything. And like just last night, I went for a concert. It was an event where we were promoting one of our brands called Corona. and the entire team was there, and we had a blast. So it's right now it's more like a party than work. And if you're fortunate enough and you get a good team, then you'll always have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
that was
there's
great.
this one very important point as a GMT in ABINBev is that even after your 18 months are over, you get to move across different functions. So the movement across functions is very easy for a GMT. It's like in a year or so, your department changes. So for ABINBev, GMTs are like an in-house consultant. So we are allotted projects to solve a problem, and then as soon as we solve the problem, we are moved to a different department, and that's how the progression happens. That's the major work in the GMT role.
Right, and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
in the GMT role, you get a lot of international exposure as well. So right now, because of COVID, we don't have it, but you will be flown to like the Shanghai office in China and to USA. And if you are fortunate enough to get a project, like our seniors, right, at AB InBev, who were GMTs from previous batches, they've worked on projects in Australia and Korea and all of that. So you have a lot of opportunity to travel abroad as well.
Yeah, that was very insightful. So the another question is, what about seven? What about the 7CG? Is it good?
I don't think
In
CGPA matters.
ABINBev does not matter at all. CG, your department and all, it does not matter.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's why it's a great company, because it has, they've hired people and they've made a community of people who are way beyond just a number.
Shashank, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think they are making us look that we are very close-minded people. But it is not like that. Like in some cases, the PORs are so good that we have to go for 7CG. So like if you can have two spikes, either it can be a POR or it can be any kind of a project that you created a very great impact, then we can be open-minded too. That's not the case.
So the next question here is, what preparations or strategies should be done to increase the chances of shortlisting for ITC?
So Shashank.
Okay, yeah. So I think this is not. I think for specifically for this time, you have to prepare for. If I specifically talk about this time, the CV is already made, right? So from now you can prepare for GD for your. You can grill upon your CV and all. That's the only thing that you should do right now. And if I talk about short testing, then it all depends upon your kite form that you fill. You might have got a kite form, right? So you have to fill that. Depending upon the authenticity, the kind of impact that you create, and how you handle the very situation on ground, it depends on that.
Yeah. Okay. So the other question is, purely technical CV is okay for applying for FMCG with no PORs, only some software interns. So anyone would like to take this?
So, like, we do have a GMT along with us who has a purely technical CV in electronics, and he was shortlisted for Google as well. So, you can imagine how technical his CV must be. But still, like, he has this. If you, I don't know, like, you can talk to him sometime, but he has a personality which is, that of a GMT, like, teamwork, confidence, curiosity. Uh, so he was able to like clear all the interviews and do quite well.
So Nina, would you like to say something?
No, I think they've covered it completely. I don't.
Okay. So there is one more question for Sashank. So can you tell what recruiters see while shortlisting the CV?
Even I am searching for that answer, but to be very subjective, it can be three things. Like you should have a good CGPA. The second thing would be you should have some good PORs, and the third thing is that you should fill the kite form very keenly, right? You should show the kind of authenticity you have. You should show your people skill, and you should show the kind of impact that you actually created on the ground. But if you ask me about it objectively, that I can't tell it because it all depends upon senior management and the corporate HR, and we are in no touch with them.
Okay. So the other question is, should our CV show a wide variety of projects from different topics, or projects in only in core will work?
Yeah. So I think for AB InBev, it's good if you have a variety because, like we just mentioned before, at AB InBev, you're not kept in the same role forever. Like every few months or every year, you will be rotated. You will be moved to a different function. Like you'll go from sales to marketing or from marketing to finances or something. They expect you to have like a very generalist kind of approach and be good at, like, be an all rounder rather than being like a specialist who knows like too much about just one area. So even in your CV, if you have a variety of projects, that really helps. At least in my case, it did because I had project like at least one project in every single profile. Because every year I used to explore a different area and do an intern based on that. So my CV was very diverse. But yeah, if you are aiming for like a technical company or any software roles, then yeah, there having like a very specific CV might help, where you have like only technical projects, or if you have variety within technical projects, like you have an open source project and you have a competitive coding project, there that kind of helps. But yeah, for FMCG, it's okay whether you have like variety or if it's no variety at all, right?
Okay, that was nice.
So the next question is that being a part of society get favored during the selection process based on your observation.
At AB
Again,
InBev,
it's POR, right? It's finally a POR, and that's how you'll portray
no,
it.
I,
So
I
again,
think that person means to ask is whether having contacts from that society helps or not.
no, not at all.
Yeah. So it like in AB InBev, there's this advantage. They were not hiring from undergrad colleges at all. So there are no seniors from KGP who can, favor you or whatever. They used to hire only from MBA colleges. Until last year, they were hiring from IIM Ahmedabad. So now, like the only seniors out there are like Ninad, me, and Gaurav. And obviously, so we can help you in preparation and all. But yeah, there is no. I know of some. I know why this question has come because you must have observed during your CDC interns that people from a certain society, their seniors are there and they are selecting those kids. So that does happen, but at AB InBev it won't.
Yeah, and even for ITC, like it is mostly senior management driven, which you meet only 10 to 15 years after you stay in ITC, right? So it cannot be like you cannot get in touch with senior and get into ITC. You have to be good enough to deserve a like job in ITC.
Yeah, in fact, you can't even get in touch with the immediate senior batch because they hardly ever come for hiring. It's only after you've been in the company for 2 years, at least 2 to 3 years, that's when you might become part of the process. That's also a might.
Okay, that was very insightful. So there is another question. Are there any website where we can practice for cognitive tests?
I don't think you really need practice for it, so don't worry about this so much, Sanket. I think it's more of like just have a calm mind. I mean, dude, it's just a freaking grid. You have to remember the sequence and color it again. You don't have to prepare for that. Like just during the test, have a peaceful mind and be cool and calm and just play it like a game. That's what I did.
So Ninad, would you like to add?
No, so I'll just say one thing though. In cognitive tests, there are a lot of memory puzzles and all that, which I don't think you'll get anywhere. But definitely practice a lot of quant, whichever profile you're preparing for quant. Do a lot of quant. Basic mental ability and all that questions because it will help you somewhere or the other. Even in cognitive tests, there are mathematical puzzles and all that. If you're in touch with quant, you'll be able to do calculations faster. So there are a lot of questions in which the number of questions are unlimited, but there's a time limit. So the more you solve, the it is. So in these places, quant helps. So again, yeah, keep in touch with quant, but again, there's no place where you can practice cognitive questions.
Okay, so the next question is, do we need to have a backup like coding if you aim for FMCG?
Yeah, so I think it's a good question, Charvi. I think your backup can be anything. You can aim for FMCG and have product as a backup, or you can aim for product and have quant as a backup. You don't really need to have coding per se. I had coding because like I felt that there are a lot of companies that come for coding. So even if kahin pe nahi hua, to at least some coding company will take me. Uh, But yeah, that also, like, I turned out to be lucky and I got placed on day zero itself. So even I didn't have to give my coding interviews also. So it's okay. But do have like one backup. It doesn't have to be a technical backup.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
make
the
sure
thing
that
is,
just make sure that you don't have so many backups, or so much focus on the backup that you lose focus on your primary thing. So for me it was like I my first preference was consulting. So I was sitting, I got in BCG and all. But then at the end it was like, yeah, I want to go into a leadership role, which is majorly what GMT is. It's not exactly a FMCG role, it's a leadership management type of a role. So it was like I was focusing completely on this, and then it was like I'll see what happens ahead. But I was not preparing coding at all. So that was one thing. It's not necessary that you need to have coding as a backup, but you should definitely have something else, obviously. But don't make it too numerous that your focus on the primary thing reduces.
Okay. Yeah, Shashank, you
yeah,
were
I think,
saying something.
yeah, I think it is very important to have a backup. Okay, so don't go without any kind of backup because it is a very random thing at the end, right? So I think you might be having some kind of backup because you already prepared 2 to 3 CV, right? So it's better to stick to that and prepare as you have prepared for that.
And even when you choose your backup, choose a backup where you don't have to spend too much time preparing for the backup. So, for example, product and FMCG are kind of related because the communication skills needed in a case and in an FMCG interview are kind of like they match. So, like if coding is your main thing, then your backup should be something like quant or like both of them should be related. Mine was like kind of an outlier situation because going for product and having a coding backup, but again I didn't need it eventually, so like just have related options.
Yeah, I think if you are not preparing for coding, then case is the thing that is backup for anything. If you are preparing for case in a group, then it's going to help you in any case.
Okay, that was very nice. So the other question is, will having knowledge of different linguistic languages known in our CV help us during our interviews?
I had like in my CV I had mentioned my hobby is like learning new languages, and I had written all the languages that I know, German and everything, but they didn't ask anything based on that. So I think it really depends on your interviewer, what they see in your CV and what they ask based on.
Okay.
Yeah, and for ITC, I think for undergrad it does not matter. For MBA grad, it matters sometimes because they have a kind of a rotation program like these guys are having, right? So they have to interact with the ground team a lot, like South Indians, North Indians. They want to. If it is there, then it is always a plus. But for undergrad, it is not a problem. Or even if you are having, then that is going to be a very minor increment in your CV.
Okay. Uh, so the last question here is, does HUL comes for placements?
Yes, it does. It depends if this year it will come or not, but it does come for placements.
Okay. So there is one more question. Is ITC brand specific? So
Yeah, so
Shashank, would you
basically,
like to answer?
yeah, basically in my time, they came for two things. The first was related to FMCG, and second was related to data analytics. So for FMCG, yes, they was very specific to mech or chemical, like these kind of branches. And for data analytics role, they were open to anything. They're ready to take any guy who's competent enough to have this.
Okay, that was very great. So we are done with the questions here. So Sankalp, would you please change the slide? So finally, any piece of advice you would like to give to our Janta? Any panelist?
I have just one piece of advice, and that is the thing which helped me the most during placement sem. It's like have a group to study with, whether it's coding, whether it's cases. Please have a group of at least 3 to 4 people because it helps. Like, I'll give you an example of my case group. There was a girl from IIT Madras and a girl from IIT Kanpur and me. And the three of us used to do cases. And, since you are the average of the company that you keep, all three of us got shortlisted for the same product companies. And all three of us even got placed as a management trainee in like different companies, but the profile was the same. So it really helps. And when you'll get the results of some shortlists where you didn't make it, or if some test went bad, or something like that, you'll always have these people to, support you and discuss it with you, and they'll understand it the best rather than, your family, who doesn't really have is not really in touch with the technical aspects of the process, right? And especially in COVID, it's very difficult to like go to your wingies and all of that. So do have a case group who are preparing the same thing, they understand what you're going through, and yeah, preparing with them really helps.
Yeah, and one more advice: that don't leave the case group until unless everyone gets placed. Okay.
Yeah, even though and I think even Ninad would relate to this, even after we got placed, our friends were yet to get placed. So right up to like day 3, day 4, even up to day 7 and 8, we were still helping people with their interviews. We didn't start our placement parties until like everyone got placed.
Yeah.
So I just have 2-3 things that I want to tell. One is there will be a lot of companies, a lot of profiles that you might find interesting. You'll find, yeah, I can apply here. So obviously you should apply, but your focus should be very fixed. Okay, if you apply everywhere, you won't be able to put proper efforts in all your applications. So choose and apply. Targeted application is very important. Second, when you've decided that you want to go for for one profile, then stick to it, because you'll prep it for a month, 1.5, then you'll switch it. It does not make sense. You won't be able to prepare for any of these profiles. So just fix it. Obviously you should have backups, but targeted preparation is very important. Second, everyone, even let's say for me, I had a group of 12 people who were my binkies. Okay, I was not doing my prep with them, but they were there with me full time, and I was there with them full time. जैसे समृद्ध ने बताया ना, even though I got placed on day 0, I was working with them till day 11. Okay, that is very important. That group of people with whom you can rant about everything that's happening, it's very important, because it is a high pressure situation, and you need this group of people around. And the third thing is that you need to be ready for anything. Okay, anything. Placement process is very random. There are people who have like a 9-pointer, good CV, and people of your very good coding skills, but they did not get shortlisted for any coding companies. There are people with heavy PORs, heavy management CVs, did not get qualified for a lot of management roles. So it is very, very random. Okay, keep this in mind. ऐसा मत सोचना कि यार कहीं नहीं हो रहा है, because it's बहुत ज़्यादा luck पे depend करता है. Right moment, right time, you will get in. Yeah. So keep this in mind. Be ready for this. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि second day you're facing this कि यार कहीं हो ही नहीं रहा है. ऐसा तो expect नहीं किया था. Be ready for anything. Okay, that's very important. Otherwise, and just keep your positive attitude on. That's like the last thing. If you have a good attitude towards it, you'll get कहीं ना कहीं पहुंच जाओगे अच्छी जगह. That's very important.
Yeah, I think Samruddhi and Ninad pointed out very well. One more point that I'd like to add: that don't be disappointed in any situation. Okay, it might take 6 hours to get rejected, right? But it will take only half an hour, and you'll be selected, and you'll be in the company, and you'll be chilling.
Yes.
Don't be disappointed at any point.
कुछ भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. मतलब मैं लेजिट ये बोल रहा हूँ, कुछ भी हो सकता है. ऐसे लोग ऐसे सिचुएशन में प्लेस हुए और ऐसे जगह रिजेक्ट हुए ना, मतलब तुम सोच भी नहीं सकते यार, मतलब ये भी कैसे हो सकता है. समझ रहे हो, कुछ भी हो सकता है प्लेसमेंट में. इसके लिए रेडी रहना.
And there are phases जो आएंगे, throughout the placement semester. Assume you're preparing for coding, okay? And then these McKinsey and BCG, all these companies will come with their CV shortlist, and you'll be like, यार consult में भी CV like कर देता हूँ, Then after a month or something, then Flipkart will come, and then it'll be like, यार चलो product का वो deck भी बना लेते हैं and stuff like that. So these phases keep coming. My only advice to you is, just like whether you want to like stick to coding or whatever your profile is, stick to it and don't apply, or like apply for everything. Just don't waste time in deciding whether मैं apply करूँ या नहीं, because that really wastes a lot of time, and that will really thinking में मत कि करना है तो apply कर दो, छोड़ो, get back to your coding prep. Otherwise पूरा ही छोड़ दो, don't even apply, just keep coding. That is my
Yeah, that was very great answer. So moving on.
So okay, thank you all for the advices. I think we have taken all of the questions. So coming to the conclusion of the session, first we would like to thank all our panelists, Mr. Ninad, Mr. Shashank, and Ms. Samruddhi, for giving us their valuable time and sharing all the insights with us today. We will also like to thank our audience being so pleasant and active during the session. That's it from our side. Thank you and have a nice day.
And if you want to reach out to any of us,
Thank
do
you.
message us on
All the best,
LinkedIn,
yeah.
whatever.
Definitely. Anywhere, yeah. Give us a call if you have a number. Not a problem. We are anyways ready to help. कोई इशू नहीं है, ठीक है. All the best. सही से करो.
All the
And
best,
हाँ,
everyone.
चलो.
All the best, guys.
Let us know if you need anything. Okay, anything at all.